Hello there, this is TPA017 and today I'm going to be having a bit of a look at some games that came out in January this year, 2025. Now, this is a bit late, I know, coming out right at the end of February, but yeah, a little bit late, but let's get into it, shall we? So it's a pretty good little section this month actually, so I hope you enjoy it. So, first up we have Behind Glass Aquarium Simulator by BitBros Inc. Came out in early access in August 2021. It's a pretty impressive little aquarium simulator. Over 200 species of fish, turtles, axolotls, and all that kind of thing. There's fresh and saltwater tanks, the ability to adjust more to pH and salinity, temperature, water level, all that kind of thing. It's pretty in depth actually, so let's have a look. Yeah, it's a bit of a short trailer that one, but that one's available for Windows and Mac, $14.99 US. System requirements, they're not too bad actually. Windows 10, dual core CPU, 4GB RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970, or an AMD Radeon RX 480, and 2GB of free space, so you shouldn't really have any trouble running it. On the next side, macOS 10.15 Catalina, 2.2 GHz Intel i7, which again that's not really a problem these days. 4GB RAM, AMD Radeon Pro 460, and 2GB of free space. So not too bad at all. So next up we have Sniper Elite 4, developed by Rebellion Games. So this one originally came out in 2017. Had a few updates since then, and we had the Mac and iOS version in January 2025. Very solid little title. I've wrapped up a playthrough of it myself. Pretty much worth a look. So let's have a bit of a look at the trailer.
Italy, 1943. Behind enemy lines. We need to know what the Nazis are planning, and how we can stop them. My mission? Kill all high-ranking officers. Find out what the Nazis are up to, and get the hell out. What happens next could change the course of the war.
Rightio, so that one's for Windows and Mac, Xbox One, Xbox X and S, PS4, PS5, iOS and Switch. Now, recommended retail price. It depends on the platform actually. So on Steam it's $59.99 US, but on other places it's other prices. So yeah. So system requirements: Windows 7, 8.1 or 10. Intel Core i3-2100 or an AMD equivalent, 4GB RAM, and a AMD Radeon HD 7870 or an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 660 2GB for both of them. Space isn't mentioned. I'm going to assume probably about the same as the Mac side, about 16GB, give or take a couple. Mac side, macOS 14 Sonoma or later, Apple M1, 8GB RAM, Apple M1 for GPU, and yeah, 16.2 GB. Alright, yeah. The Roottrees Are Dead by Robin Ward. So this one was originally made for the Global Game Jam 2023. It was remastered since then and released on Steam with hand-drawn illustrations improved music and sound effects, and other improvements as well. So let's have a look.
Hi, I'm Clark. Probably not who you expected to be knocking, but life's funny sometimes.
For those of you just joining us, the Roottrees are dead.
Very much a 90s feel. I recognise quite a bit of that. So give me a second. So, Windows, Mac and Linux, $19.99 US, recommended retail price. System requirements, Windows 10 64-bit or a 64-bit Linux operating system, 2 GHz dual-core processor, 8 GB of RAM, Intel HD graphics 510, 2 GB, and 1 GB free space. So, not really much of a problem there. Mac side, Mac OS 10.13 High Sierra, Apple M1, 8 GB of RAM, and 1 GB of free space. So, again, shouldn't have any trouble running it. It's been doing quite well actually. So, next up, Football Coach, College Dynasty. This one's developed by Coach Apps, entered early access in December 2022. This one's a college football management simulator. There's a variety of plays. You can recruit players, level your coach, meet expectations, get noticed by larger schools. I'm really not familiar with college football at all. So this is American rules football. So you can probably tell with the accent I'm not. So let's have a look at the trailer anyway. Right here. So that one's for Windows and Mac. I did have to rescale that trailer. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. $19.99 US. System requirements, Windows 10 with an Intel Core 2 or a AMD Athlon 64 1.8 GHz. They're pretty old at this point, so 4 GB RAM, Intel GMA X4500 or NVIDIA GeForce 9600M GT or AMD Mobility Radeon HD 3650 and 12 GB free space. Honestly, the most problem you'll probably have would be the 5 GB free space. Next side, Mac OS 12 Monterey, Apple M1, 4 GB RAM and 5 GB free space. Could be worth a look if you're interested in it. Let's see. Next up, Aotenjo Infinite Hands by Exocat. This one just entered early access. It's a roguelike deck builder mahjong game. There's with 100 different patterns, 144 different artifacts, and some special tiles for you to discover. It's expected to be in early access for just under a year. let's have a look. I think that might be the first or second time I've covered a mahjong game since I've been doing this series. So, platforms, Windows and Mac, $9.99 US. System requirements, really aren't too bad. It's Windows 7, 10 or 11, 2 GHz CPU, 2 GB RAM, 400 MB free space. Mac side, pretty similar. Mac OS 10.12, Apple M1 or Intel Core M, 2 GB RAM, 400 MB free space. You won't have any trouble running it. I'd be surprised if we did. So, next up. Aotenjo, with you till the end. It's being developed by AlterStaff Inc. Entered early access in January. So this one's a bit different. It's a visual novel with 3 different Yandere AI girls. I mean actual AI. I think it's running through Azure. It has their own little escape room things that you have to talk to and ideally convince to let you go. They expect it to be in early access for about a year. So let's have a look.
Where are you? Are you hiding from me? I can't wait for our journey ahead. I will always be by your side wherever you go. We will be together, no matter what. Don't say that. That makes me embarrassed. Are you ignoring me? There you are. So you're awake. Are you looking for this? Are you ignoring me?
Yes, I'm not quite sure what to say about that one, but anyway, Windows and Mac, $9.99 US. System requirements are Windows 10, 64-bit, with a Intel Core i5 or AMD equivalent, 8GB RAM, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060, and 7GB of free space. On the Mac side, Mac OS 12, Intel Core i5, 8GB RAM, Intel Iris Plus graphics, which seems a bit different from the Windows side, but anyway, and 7GB of free space. So that's that different little one. So let's continue on. Cyber Manhunt 2 New World, the hacking simulator, developed by Aluba Studio. It entered early access in May 2024. I've covered it a couple of times before. Hacking simulator / puzzle game, exploring the role of an AI assistant, navigating the disappearance of a hacker, with a fair few other characters involved. Bit of an expanding storyline. It's done quite well, so let's have a look.
So it's come to this after all? The president is scheduled for a chip implant during today's inauguration speech. The nation's leader is surrendering all responsibilities to AI. Do you realize what this means? We'll lose the ability to tell reality from illusion, or shape our own destiny.
Since my creation, I've been calculating the optimal social model for humanity. I've achieved more progress than humans did in thousands of years. We both know, and even humans themselves know, they have always been resistant to change and blind to truth. They are driven by greed and ignorance.
I saw them trading chips.
They will always turn on each other.
You all just waited for me to fail, didn't you?
In their endless struggles for power.
But Paradise Isle...
Now, Project Fates has enough power to rewrite everything. Human society should progress under Titan's leadership. You cannot fight against the tide of the times.
An outdated relic dares to call itself the tide of the times. At last we meet.
So, a bit of a different trailer from the ones I've done before. So, Windows and Mac, $12.99 US. System requirements, Windows 7, 8 or 10. Intel Core i3 30. My apologies. Intel Core i3 3220, which is fairly old at this point. 8GB RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GT 610, and 5GB of free space. So, not too bad at all. Just as it needs a little bit of space. Mac side, macOS 10.8 Mountain Lion. It's a bit old by now. Intel Core i3 2GHz, 8GB RAM, Intel Iris graphics, and 5GB of free space. So, won't have any trouble running it. So, next up. So, I always cover these kind of odd little games. This one's actually been doing quite well, over 2,000 positive reviews. So, the Black Dragon and the Prince of Lies. This one's is done by Raspberry Night Studio. This one's simplified Chinese only. So RPG / visual novel / dating sim, where as the heroine, the princess, you have to meet and get to know the Black Dragon. There's about 2 to 3 hours of playtime and 5 different endings. It's been reviewed pretty well. So let's have a look.
それにニーズヘック花が咲くのを誰も止められないし、その花が蜂や蝶々を引き寄せるのも誰も止められない。そうだろ、お姫ちゃん。ずるいね。でも面白いから許してやるよ。
確かにここのハエはうるさい。
そうだね。取引しようか。ニーズヘック。俺が王国のもう一つの姫を捕まえて交換しようか。
それは不可能だ。創世の神との契約に基づいて、生贄の候補はこの城の下の魔法陣の中で3年過ごさなければならない。それが予見の上限を満たすために必要だ。今は3年の間に1年が経っている。残りの時間は候補者の交代に。
小红书。
So that's the trailer for it. I've had to upscale that one. So that one's for Windows, Mac, Linux. It's made with Ren'Py, I believe. $9.99 US. Operating system Windows 7, 8 or 10. Not mentioned what the requirements are for the Linux or Mac versions, but that shouldn't be too bad. It was using Ren'Py. Pentium 4 1.3 GHz processor. 512 megabytes of RAM, 128 megabytes for GPU, and 2 gigabytes of free space. So, not too bad at all. On Mac side, 64-bit Intel, which is basically all of them, except for like 2 early Intel models. 4 gigabytes RAM, 2 gigabytes free space. So, yes, let's continue on. Jaded by ShellSnore Games. Now, just want to clarify, it is Snore, not Shore. Entered early access April 2022. It's a 2D platformer. You can dash through levels and control time in and out of combat as you explore the over 150 It's the over 350 rooms of the island of Stosia. I'm not doing too well tonight. So it's a very pretty little thing. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's quite a pretty little thing. If you played the demo of it earlier, there's a chance you might have it in your library already. They did a bit of a promo. If you played the demo earlier, early before it came out, you got a copy of the pre-game when it was released. So you might have a copy, you never know. Platforms: Windows, Mac, Linux, $9.99 US. Operating systems: Windows 7, Service Pack 1 or Windows 10, or Ubuntu 16.04 or 18.04, or SteamOS as well. CPU, x86 or x64 with SSE2 support, 1GB RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970 or an AMD Radeon R7 265, and 920 megawatts of free space. So, not too bad at all. Mac side pretty similar: Mac OS 10.12 Sierra, Intel Apple CPU, 1GB RAM, Intel or AMD GPU, and 920 megawatts of free space. So let's continue on. Learning Factory by Luden.io. So this one into early access February 2021. Factory automation / education game. Try to satisfy your Fairline customers by producing, researching, and expanding product lines. It's worth a look. I've played a couple of his games before. They're quite interesting. So let's have a look.
It started a long time ago. At first, everything was perfect. But then the dark times came, and things kept getting darker and darker. But there is still hope. The dream of bringing back the Catopia lives on. But first, we must build a factory.
Yes, it's a bit more involved than you think. So that one's for Windows, Mac, Linux, $14.99 US. System requirements: Windows Vista, 7, 8, 10 or 11, or Ubuntu 16.04 or later. 3.8 GHz CPU. That sounds a bit high to me, but anyway. 4 GB RAM, 4 GB VRAM for the GPU, 6 GB free space. I don't think you'd have any trouble running it, as long as you've got a decent CPU. On the Mac side, macOS 10.13 High Zero, Apple or Intel 3.8 GHz CPU, 4 GB RAM, 4 GB VRAM, and 6 GB free space. And okay, so the last two honourable mentions. First up, Towers of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter, developed by Oddbug Studio. This one's a sequel to the popular indie RPG that came out in 2021. And this time you're up in the frozen north, encountering various monsters, crafting weapons, and upgrading your settlements. And the second one is Game of Fate 2, A Century's Promise by Karma Game HK Limited. So this one's a follow-up to last year's Game of Fate. It's a dating sim full motion video / mystery game. It continues to explore a variety of branches, including 1920s and 1930s China. It's all shot in 4K, and there's over 50 endings with it. It's pretty expensive. So that's it for January, even though it's nearly March. And yes, so I've already started getting February's together. This time I'm going to aim for middle of March for that one. And yes, so I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching, and yeah, see you then.